Hey guys, how you doing? This is JP Saricolia, coming to you again with another video. Today I want to talk about the Battlefield 5 open beta. It finally ended, and it definitely ended with, really a high note, at least for me. I know that there's a lot of commentary online. You can see a lot of people on YouTube and other social media outlets expressing their disappointment with the beta. And I'll tell you, I did get a chance to play for a good amount of hours the game, and to really come to a conclusion. There's a lot of good things in the game, and there are also a lot of bad things that actually harm the gameplay and the overall experience. And I want to discuss some of those aspects which I feel that they need to be addressed. And I'm sure that you probably, if you really follow up with Battlefield, you have seen other people mentioning this before. So I want to just point out my own personal experience of the things that I saw. Nothing in this video is scripted, so I'll just try to go through the list of things that I personally saw that I believe that need change. For starters, I want to talk about the good, the graphics. The graphics are phenomenal. I am a console gamer, so I don't use the PC. So I'm sure the PC is a much better experience. But in my case, I'm very pleased with the experience. I play on the PS4. I didn't use the Xbox on this one. I just tried the beta with the PS4, but the graphics were phenomenal. I love the lighting. I love everything. The design. We had come a long way. I've been playing Battlefield for since Bad Company 2. I've been playing, so I'm experiencing a lot of the Battlefields. I didn't start in the PC, so I don't know that experience. But Battlefield, the Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, 4, Hardline, Battlefield 1. So definitely the graphics are phenomenal, top notch. Loved all the design, it is the most gorgeous experience that you can find in any shooter at this point. Is the most beautiful render first person shooter that you can find in the market. Also, the music score. I really love the music score they use, very cinematic, particularly in the moments that things are getting very heated in the different maps, when you're trying to take a map or you come into the end of the session. And definitely the amps, the music, it creates that sense of a surprise, and it really touches those nerves. So musically, the music score is good, and that's been an experience that Battlefield, EA, with DICE have been able to manage well. So it's definitely, it seems like a high budget movie. So I really love that part. Now going into the game physics, this is the part where I really love. Particularly, I enjoy some of the physics of the game, the realistic physics of the game. I love when if you can see when people get shot, particularly when you're shooting. I love sniping. I do a lot of recon in my gaming. It's one of my favorite classes. But when one person, if you're looking through the scope and you shoot somebody in the head, for example, and the way the natural the physics with the body jumps back, or it's just thrown out because of the force of the shot, it is just very natural, feels very fluid. Other games don't have this fluidity. They don't have this natural feel to it. But here, the physics are great. The movement when you're running, you can feel that movement. When you roll, when you jump up of a window, things like that, you can feel that. The environmental destruction, how things explode and the way things fall through, all of that seems very natural. The weather patterns, the snow effects, sometimes it's going to be snowy. You can see the cold, all the in this case the snow in the area. You can see how cold it is. Everything is just, it looks very organic, and definitely that's one of the greatest highlights of this. Definitely EA and DICE have been able to manage to create a very a good atmosphere for this game. So now going into more technical aspects, I did like the fortification system for the support class. I did not really play much of it. I hardly play. I don't think I did any sessions where I did much of it. I was not as I was a bit not scared, but not familiar with it. I don't like fortification systems. For example, like Fortnite. One of the things that I really don't like Fortnite, and I don't play Fortnite because of it. And I was a bit skeptical about it, but really looking at it, watching it, and I've seen other people and how it really determines and how it can shape the way the battle is played, particularly when you're defending a flag or you're defending a position. It's just it looks great. It is definitely a great system and definitely plays out pretty good. Definitely, I think this fortification system it feels very natural with Battlefield. It feels very good. The another thing, the map layout. I definitely like the maps. They're big. They're not as big as some other maps, but they really play well. They offer a great variety of secure positions and hidden locations. So you can really play with that if you are a sniper. Like I love sniping. You definitely find a lot of places where you can snipe. So you have that opportunity. If you're protecting a position, there's a lot of places where you really bunker down and really defend that position. It's very good. You can utilize the destruction around you. You can use create your own foxhole so you can actually protect an area. All of those things really play out pretty good, and all of that is really comes back from Bad Company. It definitely utilizes that ability, Bad Company too. So you definitely can really use it to your advantage, and I really like that part. I think it's utilizing better than any previous or Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4 did. Another thing, anyone can revive it now. So not only medics can do it, not only the medic class, which is not good for the medic class because it seems that now medic class is not as necessary as before because anybody has the ability to revive you. But I think that helps and allows you to work more with your team, so people are able to help each other out. So it's pushing that out more and more, which I think is a great thing. There are health and ammo boxes in various locations and flags around the map, like in Bad Company. Definitely, I like that part. They really did, there were a lot of them everywhere, so you were able to find them. So if you needed more health and you needed more ammo, so that's a cool concept. So you're able to resupply yourself constantly. You can also grab, health for medics. You can just pass by and grab it. And of course, like something that we have seen with the previous one, you can grab ammo from, dead soldiers. So those are the greatest parts where I really find the game, that I'd really say that is good for the game. And now talking about the good, now we need to talk about the bad, and then there are plenty of things to talk about. For starters, I found the game at times very dark, too dark, and sometimes too bright. And that really affects the gameplay. There are places where everything is extremely dark, so it's hard to see and distinguish, a friend from foe, And another thing that really a lot of people were complaining, and I can agree with, is the sun flare, the sun reflection from Battlefield 3. That was something that, I love Battlefield 3, but that was something a lot of people complain is that sometimes the sun effect can create some confusion. Sometimes you don't see the bullets coming, you don't see the people in front of you, which it kind of adds to the realistic feel of things. It looks gorgeous, but at the same time, it affects the gameplay because sometimes there's so much light, everything is so bright that it's hard to distinguish things, and that brings to another problem. The soldiers, the blend in to the background, which is normal. Like I said, it's more realistic, but it really affects the way. Sometimes you can distinguish, friend from foe. It's just hard to know. Sometimes you don't even know you're walking into someone right there. And one thing I really like about Battlefield 3 is that you were able to distinguish. There was, always a title above your friends or any soldier, so you can differentiate one from the others. In this case, this is very, very small, so you really don't know. And sometimes there were instances where I walk into pretty much the lion's den, and I thought I was just hanging out, was close to allies. So which to me that was really disappointing and really infuriating at times. So yes, the everything looks so good, but there's so much resolution in the game that it's so high fidelity that sometimes it really caught you off guard. It just catches you off guard. It's not really as pleasant. And the sound detection, there was a lot of this happening. I don't know. I think there were glitches in that because there's so much information that has been processed by the system, of course, by the engine. You have so many games, but so many stuff. Visual, sound. So even though the sound, like I said before, the music score was great, sometimes you couldn't even hear nearby steps, which is really very important when you're playing a first-person shooter. You want to be able to, if you're using your mic, if you're using your anything, the sound, your speakers and all that, you want to make sure that you can hear that people walking behind you. And that was something that I really found very infuriating, that there were times that you couldn't even hear people walking by, and you couldn't even hear the sound of the guns, of people firing at you, even right next to you. So that was a bit upsetting, because it's extremely important. It's imperative for you to be able to hear well, so you can hear and understand what's going on around you. So there were those things at times, and of course there were a lot of glitches. Of course this is a beta, so you're gonna find those glitches, and the glitches like the missing sound. There were glitches of people floating. You kill somebody and the person was still floating, or you see guns and kind of floating in midair, which is really funny. So there were a lot of it. There were a couple of glitches that were very disappointing, when you trying to spawn back again into one of the flags, you couldn't do it, and it just keep repeating it over and over and over again. Or sometimes you're walking and all of a sudden your steps back. So there were a lot of stuff glitches, and of course those glitches are normal. But I just found them very annoying at first, particularly in the first sessions. By the end, I think I was more accustomed to the glitches. I was just kind of playing with them. But at the same time, I think they were more, not as many. But in my first sessions, I was having a lot of them, and it was just disappointing. And I do have, good internet at home. So it's just like, the fastest internet that you can have. So, it was not my internet. I know it was more about, in this case, the servers having problems with, I suppose, with all this, and the engine having problems with all this information, of course, that is provided with the game. And there were a lot of them. Another thing that I have a hard time was the spawning system. And that's something that I've been having a problem with, I would say, with Battlefield for quite some time. Battlefield, Battlefield Bad Company, it started with a spawning system to make things faster. I like when you're able to go back into the game faster. I like when I'm able to support my team and I'm back with them. Battlefield Bad Company had a great spawn system, which made things faster. I think Battlefield 3 was great. I still remember I had great experiences with Battlefield 3. You're able to get back on track and trying to defend a place. But here, I feel that with Battlefield 4 particularly, and after Battlefield 4, we're having a big problem with the spawning. And it feels that in many ways, Battlefield is trying to imitate Call of Duty games. It just feels that you're just there. You take a flag. All of a sudden, somebody appears right behind you. And there was really nobody there. It's like I feel that instead of more upfront, more in a front assault, you have to kind of watch your back constantly. And I hate it. There were times that I just spawned in a place, and all of a sudden somebody was there waiting for me, which was definitely not good, and it really makes you upset. I think there's something that I feel that for some reason the Spanish system, in the attempts to make things faster, they're also affecting the way Battlefield plays. You want to play Battlefield. I'm not playing Call of Duty. I do play Call of Duty, but Call of Duty plays in a different manner. I want Battlefield to be a little more realistic in that aspect. If I had to spawn a little back, maybe a couple yards back, instead of just kind of in the middle of it when everybody's dying, so I'm just gonna die again. They need to fix it in a way with it. It pleases the game, but makes things faster. But at the same time, it is fair, because if I take a flag, and I'm standing there, I'm waiting for reinforcements, and all of a sudden somebody appears just like right behind me, then I'm sorry, it's not right. And another thing, there was not enough ammo, and I can understand that many games, you want to start a spawn in a game and you have enough ammo. This game tries to kind of push you to be more tactical, but the first thing you think once you spawn is looking for ammo. It's the first thing can come to mind. You are looking constantly, running around, looking for ammo, and sometimes instead of you defending a flag, you have to leave your flag So you can go back and try to look for ammo. You leave your location, your position, just to do that. So it constantly worries you and takes away from the enjoyment from that experience, because you don't have enough ammo. You only have maybe two max, and it's hard. Let's say you're the last person in your squad, and you are in that position, and all of a sudden you have eight people coming at you, and you only have half a magazine left. What do you expect is gonna happen? There's nothing you can do. You're just gonna have to die. So I feel that they need to probably start with maybe with three max or even four max. And of course, I love the idea of having the boxes all over the place, but you just want to in the firefight, you want to be able to hold your position while you wait for reinforcements, and you need ammo. It's just extremely important. Another thing, you cannot regain your health slowly like you did before. Like before, if you got shot, you have to kind of run away, maybe into a corner, try to. It takes a little time to regain health. No, now you have to use the med kits. So you have to grow for med kits, which is going to what it's going to do is that it leaves you open to die again and again and again. Which to me, great players can handle that, but I'm an average player, like most people. Like 99% of players in Battlefield, I'm an average player. So you're dying a lot, and it's frustrating, and that takes away for the joy, because you don't have health, you don't have ammo, you're running like a chicken without a head, just trying to figure it out what to do next. So, and that also, the healing and the dying take too long. It was something that I could not understand. It is like you are there, sitting there. If you get shot, then you wait for somebody to heal you. It's good that everybody can heal you, but it takes too long for someone to heal someone. That because it takes too long, of course, people don't want to just take the chance. If you want to survive, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, dude. I'm gonna have to walk right past you, and I'm gonna let you die. And the problem is that in previous games, you were able just to. Even on Battlefield 1, you were able just to promptly go back into the fray. Now you just have to wait in this scene where you're just dying and bleeding all over the place, which is very sad and depressing. And nobody's telling. And you can choose to die soon, or you can choose to wait for somebody to revive you. Either or, it's still gonna take forever. It takes, I don't know, it takes like 25 seconds or more, which is definitely sad. Well, all around you, everything is going to hell. So it's just not good. They need to kind of scratch that out and go back to what they did before. And definitely there are unbalanced guns. When you start, of course, there's a lot of different guns. Some are good, some are not that good. Some are too powerful, and some they need too many shots. You're gonna have, and like I do a lot of recon stuff. So I do a lot of one shot guns, and sometimes you need two shots, and sometimes the guns are really unbalanced. Some are very powerful, and some are powerful enough. Some really have a strong kick. Of course, you have to kind of play with them and get to upgrade them little by little. But some of those guns are not as balanced. The SMGs are very have lost a lot of power. They're not as powerful, and SMGs are locked to the medic class, which suffers. Which is bad. I feel that the medic class should have more variety on their guns. That it's like now they're not the only medics, because everybody can heal others. So it kind of nerfed down the class. So right now you don't have much to do in reality, because everybody else is doing your job, and then you have the worst guns in the game. So I feel that it's going to push people to do less the medic part and do other aspects, which it's kind of okay in one way if you want to balance them out. Maybe the support class, but it just doesn't feel right. So I feel that they need to balance the guns, and the SMGs, they need to allow the medic class to be able to use other different guns besides the SMGs. And of course, another thing that is a big part is the progression tree and the weapon loadout accessibility. What I mean by this is the progression tree is kind of weird to understand. It's better, I think, than what they did before. I like this progression tree before better than the one that they did with Battlefield 1. I feel that they tried to go back to the simplicity. They try to simplify things. I think the problem with Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 is that, you have so much progression, so many things that you can do, that sometimes it gets so confusing, and you don't know exactly where you're at and what to do. I feel that this one, they're trying to simplify things to make things more enjoyable, but in the simplification, they also have taken away the ability to understand. So sometimes you don't even know exactly what do you have or what do you need. the things that you need to add to your progression, and how can you kind of shape your guns, how can you give the a loadout. And the bad part is that you don't have the access to change the loadout while you're on the game screen. You're stuck with the gun. You cannot change anything. You cannot add different sights or add different things or change the way the weapon behaves depending on the situation. And sometimes if you want to be tactical about it, that in game sometimes things you need to kind of tweak some of the tactical decisions you make, and that means that you might have to change your gun, or you have to change the loadout of your gun. It doesn't give you that chance. The only way to change it is going out of the game session to do it, which is a pain. If you're already working with a team, if you're working with other people, just to leave the game, just to do that and go back, and you might not make it back, and you have to wait forever to get into the queue, so you're going to have to play with someone else. So I feel that they need to fix those things. Overall, I like the experience. I definitely do. I did like the experience. I found it very enjoying per se. At the beginning, I was disappointing. Like many people, I was just feeling a lot of frustration. I felt, this is not the battlefield. This is not my battlefield. This is not what I want to do. But overall, after a while, dealing with the situation, playing the situation, staying in the game, taking the time, I felt more comfortable, and I started finding the enjoyment. Once you find that place where you kind of start feeling comfortable with a game, then you start playing it. And I start having a good time. But definitely, I feel that it's a lot of the times it has taken some of the joy of playing the battlefield. So the game is beautiful. The game looks awesome. There's a lot of awesome things here. But there's a lot of things that do not feel like a Battlefield game, or at least a Battlefield game that everybody can enjoy. And I know there's going to be the school of those that they want everything to go back to the beginning. They're saying that they want a Battlefield more like Battlefield 1942 or Battlefield 2, or Battlefield Vietnam. All of those games, older games, which I understand, but I do feel that the way Battlefield is, I think that the Battlefield that we're playing now is determined. It's more in the lines of, Bad Company 2 and, of course, Battlefield 3. And I feel that in some ways they have improved some areas, but other areas they're still dealing with a lot of the same thing, the same baggage, the same things. They're in many ways trying to make it too casual and trying to help everyone to win. So you want to make it enjoyable without sacrificing, the technical aspects of it, without just kind of serving it to the casuals and not doing it for the people that really want the technical aspect of the game, and they want to just have more the realistic feel. We have to realize this is not a simulator. A lot of people feel that Battlefield should be a military sim, but it is not. It's still an arcade shooter, and still, it has a skin of a real thing, but still, you have to have that right balance. And I think they're making some of those decisions. I did enjoy this. I found it enjoyable. I actually found it more enjoyable, some of the aspects here, than I did with Battlefield 1. It does, like I said before, it's pushing you to be more tactical, to think through things, so you're not, just like running around, just, trying to just shoot people whenever you can, like you do with Call of Duty. It's just more about just, you have to think whatever you're going to do, you have to make it count. Every shot needs to count. And I like that. But I feel that they need to tweak it so the experience is enjoyable and it feels more natural. So once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this lengthy video. I definitely enjoyed it. I'm not sure if I'm going to purchase day one, to be honest with you. I feel that this is a good beta. I personally, if I have the choice, I think EA should wait months, maybe until early next year to really release the game. But you know how it is. They're trying to make the money, so they're gonna just kind of fix it on the go, which is not always a good thing. So, but I feel that there's a lot of great games out there. I'm still a Battlefield fan. I have plenty of Battlefields in my queue to play, so I don't really need to play this because I can always go back to Battlefield 4, which is okay. I can go back to Battlefield 3. I can play Bad Company. I can even play Hardline, and which is okay. And still have a good time. So once again, thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video whenever you can, and also hit the notification button so you can be reminded every time a video is posted. So thank you, friends. Take care. God bless. We can make a wildfire get away.